Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
What's good, y'all? It's your man Hezo, and welcome back to the Blacktop, where I always got next, you feel me? So the NBA season is officially back underway, and I'm so excited to be getting my game recaps out for y'all. A lot of y'all really enjoyed them whenever I was doing them during the playoffs, so I'm gonna be doing them all season long, probably about 3 or 4 videos a week, so y'all stay tuned for that. So tonight, man, we have the Boston Celtics, Philadelphia 76ers, which is gonna be the only recap that I'm doing for tonight. Obviously, the Lakers and Warriors game is on a little bit later. It's starting as I'm recording this, and I'm just not going to have time to do a recap, and that's going to be the case for pretty much all season long. I'm not going to be doing late game recaps, but I'm going to be doing as much of the early games as I can. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Leave a like on the video. Help me get to my first 500 subs. I'm on my way. Y'all been really helping me out a lot lately. A lot of support, a lot of love, so I greatly appreciate y'all. And let's get right into it. So a couple small points that I want to just cover real quick before I get into the actual recap itself. Number one, the audio for this game was absolutely atrocious. There was like a slight delay to where the play happened before after the commentary, so we kind of knew what was going to happen, which was so annoying for the whole game. TNT, you got to do better with that. Number two, Stan Van Gundy is absolutely painful to listen to as a commentator. I do not like him as a commentator. It was annoying. Number three, the Celtics city jerseys, awesome. I absolutely love them. It's a great tribute to Bill Russell. RIP to the late great Bill Russell. Awesome city uniforms. I hope to see more like this, even though there was a couple that apparently leaked and they're atrocious. Point number four, it absolutely baffles me how Blake Griffin and Noah Vonleh, who was out of basketball the entire year last year in the NBA, have a job over Melo. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's get into the recap now. So there was a lot of things that I actually took away from this game, and I'm going to get into most of my overall points towards the end of the recap. Now, y'all keep in mind, this is all my opinion, so if you disagree with any of my points, this is all from my takeaways. We're not going to overreact. It's the first game of the season. Y'all can disagree if you'd like. Let me know down in the comments if you do. First thing I took away, obviously we know no Robert Williams. Derek White gets the start, and I'm thinking with no Robert Williams in the lineup, and he's going to be out for several weeks, I'm thinking Joel Embiid, you got to go out and get 40. You have to dominate this game. Joel Embiid didn't really do that. Now, when I'm looking at the first quarter, Boston really came out the gate strong in the first couple minutes. They, go on like a 9-2 run to start the game, and then they just start fouling, man. There was so many fouls in the first quarter, and really the first half in general. James Harden gets fouled on three three-pointers in the first quarter. That's just a lack of discipline on Boston's end. Now, obviously, they cleaned that up in the second half. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. But three-point fouls for James Harden. Getting to the line, he finished the quarter with 16 points, and James Harden looked really good early on. Transitioning to the second quarter, both teams were shooting the lights out offensively, but it was a lot of Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, man. These dudes really showed up tonight. Tatum really came to play. He really looks like he has improved his finishing ability around the rim. He was getting to the rim, man. He was finishing some tough layups. Overall, Boston looked really good offensively. Philly looked pretty good in the first half as well. It was a battle in the first half. James Harden, I think, finished with 22 points at the half, where it looks like we're getting vintage James Harden in the first game of the season. You love to see it. James Harden looks good. Joel Embiid just I'm watching the first half, and I didn't really see a lot of him being aggressive. He wasn't really getting into the post. Now, he was getting doubled a lot throughout the entire game. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. He was getting doubled a lot, but still, you still got to be aggressive, get to the post, and learn to make more out of the post. Now, the second half was a little bit more one-sided, right? I mean, it was pretty much all Boston. Philly just kind of came out flat in the third quarter, and Boston jumped on him a little bit later in the quarter. Jayson Tatum just started going bananas. I mean, he had, I think, 17 in the quarter, and Boston was just forcing turnovers and getting out into transition. Transition points was one of the biggest things of this game. I think Boston had like 24 fast break points to like 2 that Philly had. And one of the biggest things that I love this season is the take foul. I love the implement of this rule, because now as fans, we get to see these teams that force turnovers get out into transition without there being a stoppage in play. Because obviously now you can't foul in transition or it's a take foul. I love the rule. Shout out to the NBA, man. Great rule implement. I absolutely love it. And Boston really showed they were getting out into transition in the third quarter, and it was all Boston, all third quarter. Jaylen Brown was coming out solid. Like I said, Jayson Tatum had, I think, 17 points in the third quarter, and they really started to pull away. Fourth quarter rolls around. Philly looked like they were starting to, kind of climb back in it. Tyrese Maxey started getting hot early on in the fourth quarter, but Jaylen Brown kept answering. And then just down the stretch of the game, it was just all Boston. Sloppy plays from Joel Embiid, consistent turnovers from Joel Embiid. He did not look like he was giving any effort on defense. And this is the thing about when you watch these games. When you look at the box score of this game, it really looks like that Joel Embiid had a really good game. He really didn't, man. He didn't really shoot the ball. He didn't really shoot the ball well. He wasn't really getting to his spot. He was getting doubled a lot, but he just kept turning the ball over. I think he finished with like 5 or 6 turnovers, which is unacceptable as a center. It's unacceptable as a center. And then just the lack of effort on defense. I did not see the defensive Joel Embiid that we normally see. Obviously, again, this is the first game of the season. We are not going to overreact. Boston pulls out this one. Great first game for Boston. And my overall points that I took away from this game. Malcolm Brogdon looked excellent, leading that second unit for Boston in his debut for the Celtics. He really looks like he fits super nice. When you look at Philly's bench, man, Philly's bench it's still just not there. They went out and made moves. They got D'Anthony Melton. I think he only had like 5 points, maybe 7 points. I didn't look at the final box score, but he was not really hitting that many shots. He wasn't really getting that many opportunities. And Philly's bench is just still a problem, and that's going to be a problem in the long run if they do not continue to address it. Maybe look to make a move at the deadline. And again, I'm not going to overreact because it's the first game of the season, but Philly's bench has always been a problem. Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. What can you say about these dudes, man? One of the best duos in basketball. Finished for a combined 70 points in this game, 35 apiece. If you're Philly's defense, man, you can't let not one dude go off for 35, but 2 guys go off for 35 points in this game. Unacceptable for Philly's defense. You pick up PJ Tucker, who's supposed to be a defensive monster. You cannot let 2 guys go off for 35 points in the same game. And when you have 2 guys going off for 35 points apiece on top of the bench production that Boston was getting from Grant Williams, and then I've already touched on Malcolm Brogdon, that's just tough to beat, man. Boston really came to play missing their starting center and rotating guys out that are not going to be in the rotation later on in the season, like Noah Vonleh, I've already touched on early on in the video. Boston, great game overall. And my last point, James Harden looked great. Unfortunately, it didn't matter in the end because Philly lost the game, but that's got to be very promising and very uplifting to see that James Harden looks like pretty close to the old James Harden. He finished with 35 points, shot very efficiently. Other than a couple, I think he airballed a couple threes. He hit like the backboard on the one step back 3 when he put Marcus Smart on the ground and gave him a little shimmy. You got to finish that play, my boy. If you're going to do that, you got to finish that play. But overall, James Harden looked really good. Shot efficiently, got to the free throw line, really looked like the old James Harden. I would have really liked to see him and Embiid get into the pick and roll action a little bit more. They didn't really put Boston in the pick and roll, which kind of surprised me because they didn't have that rim protector with Robert Williams there. So I look for them to adjust that. Like I said, man, this is the first game of the season. We're not going to overreact. Philly's going to make adjustments, but the bench is the big question for me for Philly. They got to address it going forward if they're going to be a legit contender, because you just can't win without a bench in the NBA. Matisse Thybulle ain't even in the rotation, barely. I mean, he played some minutes, but he just gives you nothing offensively. I don't know, man. We'll see. Very exciting first game for the first game of the season. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Did you watch the game? Are you gonna watch the Lakers-Warriors game? I'm gonna tune in for a little bit. Probably watch the first half of the game, and then I'll check the final outcome of the box score tomorrow. See who wins it. Look who played real good. Look at highlights, all that type of stuff. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Be on the lookout for my Hawks recap tomorrow. We got the Rockets early on, I think, a 7:30 game, so I'm gonna be doing a game recap for that. Be on the lookout for all my recaps going forward this season. Leave a like on the video, and I will catch y'all next episode.